Life after entry to fear. When I was a kid, I thought two crazy things. One, we have kid names and adult names because I knew no adults with the name Kiara or Ashley, but there were at least one or two in my class every school year. No adult Ashleys, but so many Ashleys around me, so it got to be a kid name, right? I think that's fair logic. The second thing, death only happens to bad people. Good people live forever. This is before I knew everyone physically transitioned from this body to whatever you believe happens in the afterlife. This is before I ever heard of reincarnation. I just knew I was such a good girl, I would live forever. I guess in a spiritual or metaphorical sense, that could be true, but not physically. And once I figured that out, that scared me. Death didn't become real until my sibling's granddad passed away. That's when I knew. I didn't know that man's whole life story, but I knew he was always nice to me. So to a 6, 7, 8 year old, that's a good person, right? When I found out that's not how life worked, panic began setting in freaking elementary. I was worried about death and life had just begun for me. Crazy. I remember we stayed in this townhouse and my room was the only one downstairs. I went into the living room late one night during one of my anxiety-induced insomnia moments to go pray to the picture we had of Jesus on the wall. White Jesus at that. I was begging and pleading for me to never, ever, ever, ever die. I'll always be good, I promise. Eventually, I realized no matter how much I begged and no matter how good of a girl I was, we all faced the unknown day. Rich or poor, girl or boy, and I just hoped mine would be soon. So from then on, the fear of death itself always scared me. It scared me to think that the world actually keeps spinning when I leave. So it's no game over like Mario Brothers. Like the main character ran out of lives, so the screen goes black. No more levels and worlds and maps. People actually going to work. People arguing about whether or not men and women should go 50-50. People continue to be happy. That's how I felt when Larry passed, and I finally logged into my Facebook. If people weren't posting things regarding him, I was annoyed. I was pissed because my world literally stopped. Like everything was so irrelevant for at least a week or two after. I was like, people really on here talking about Starbucks drinks. Like, I give a fuck. I don't. When he first got diagnosed, it was April 28th, 2021, and I was about 33 weeks pregnant. This pregnancy was already taking a toll on my body in the ways the other two hadn't. I was dealing with placenta previa, which is when the placenta covers the opening in mommy's cervix. So new fear was unlocked, losing a baby during the third trimester. I had to stay calm as possible, not just for myself or the baby, but for him. The look on Larry's face when they said, it may be cancer, but you're too young, so I doubt it. We're going to run some more tests. I never saw that man worry much. His faith in God was so strong before and while he dealt with this battle. But the moment he began crying, I saw the fear of death cross his mind. So it crossed mine too. But I knew he couldn't be leaving this earth so soon. He was Superman to us. He always said something that used to piss me off though. That was until he passed and I processed it a whole different way. He'd always say, I can't die. I'm going to live forever. I can't die. Him saying he couldn't die, I was like, stop playing with death like that. I always felt like words were powerful, so don't play like that. When he transitioned, I took that phrase so differently. I hated when people say he died. I still do. So I always say transition or pass. To me, he hadn't died. And that's what he meant all along. Our kids, me, his family, friends, anybody that knew him, he will live on forever through us. So no, he wasn't being a smart ass playing with death when he said, I can't die and I'm going to live forever. I just Hey, it took me so long to realize the power of the words he said, but he was right. So I shouldn't be afraid to accept his transition, which is the fifth stage of grief, acceptance. But we all know grief isn't linear, so I would never 100% accept it. All that I can do at this point is believe and have hope he transcended into a new, beautiful form of life. And I was specifically chosen to be the mother of his children because I am the best person to help guide and continue his legacy. Some say we sign our life contracts before we come to this plane. If so, I'm glad we chose each other to share 9 years with. And he chose me to be his forever girl. So Johnson, I say this to you. I'll try my best not to be scared. I'll try my best not to fear the unknown. I'll try my best not just for the boys, but for myself as well. I can still hear you saying, you got this, kiddo. You got this, Jones. Sincerely, Sweet Face.